Hello wrestling fans and welcome to another edition of Tag Team. I'm your host, the Invincible E. Vincent. Caesar Scorpio is going to be covering the action that takes place on Thursday night's edition of TNA Impact. Tonight on Monday Night Raw, the show opened with Rowdy Roddy Piper having an edition of Piper's Pit. Good to see the old man back, especially after he walked off a broken neck that he had been nursing for about 3 months before he actually got it operated on. And it's kind of strange to see him up and about so soon after his operation, but he was here tonight, and he went ahead and brought out John Cena. He first started out talking about how what kept the wrestlers going, and what they showed up for was the energy of the crowd, the WWE energy, rather the WWE Universe's energy. And he brought out John Cena and basically pointed out that Cena was not about the energy of the crowd anymore. Cena asked him, what was he talking about? He went on to say that he among all the rest of the wrestlers were definitely plugged into the energy of the universe. He knew some people liked him and some people didn't, and that wasn't going to stop him from doing everything that he could to bring a good show every time he came out. Rowdy Roddy Piper sort of challenged him on it. He named some classic wrestlers and got the crowd's reaction from them: Stone Cold, The Rock, Bret Hart, and then said John Cena's name, at which point we got what we've been getting. Actually, the crowd tonight did its level best. A lot of the people, I guess, from the C Nation are in South Carolina, and they did their level best to try and drown out the normal haters that boo and say Cena sucks, this, that, and a quarter. And they did their level best. The boos still sort of leaked through, but it was actually a better pop than John Cena has been getting over the past few weeks. Nevertheless, they did go ahead and pipe up as John Cena went ahead and continued. He said that he understood that there's going to be a lot of people that weren't feeling him, weren't there to see him, but he said he wasn't doing it for them. He was doing it for the people who were there to see him, the C Nation, the kids that he saw from the Make-A-Wish Foundation, the folks in the armed services that came there to see the show of their lives, having the time of their lives, and etc. And he said that it was not gonna continue to bother him. He wasn't going to explode or have any kind of reaction to it, to the negative reactions. Rowdy Roddy Piper gave him his Hall of Fame ring, put it in his hand, and said that as from a Hall of Famer to a future Hall of Famer, I want you to go ahead and get it out of your system, because if you don't, it's going to continue to wear on you. John Cena said that he appreciated the gesture, but he didn't need it. It wasn't going to take any toll on him. And Rowdy Roddy Piper says, let's see if we can get some of that energy out of you. Gave him a good solid slap to the face. Rowdy Roddy Piper, started rolling up his sleeves as John Cena took off his hat and put the mic down. Looked like there was going to be a scuffle. John Cena took his hand, put the Hall of Fame ring back into his hand, and he shook his head no and walked away. So I think this thread is going to continue. Might be something coming up in terms of a halfway face turn or something along those lines. Don't know. We'll see what happens, but it's good, I think, that the WWE is at least acknowledging and sort of dealing with this issue of the kind of reactions that John Cena's been getting and how it's been wearing on him. And the show continued. After that, match 1 finally started. This was with The Miz versus John Morrison. This is going to be John Morrison's basically his last match with the WWE. Before they even got out to the ring, The Miz went ahead and attacked John Morrison from behind with a lead pipe. He beat on him a whole lot, focused on his leg, looked like his knee, and just basically beat him down until the refs came out to the ramp area to look at John Morrison. The Miz went up to the ring, expecting, I guess, that they weren't going to have a match and he would automatically get the win. John Morrison did go ahead and get up, hobbled up to the ring. They started the match. Again, he attacked the leg. John Morrison, withstood the beating for a little while. The Miz wound up going under the mat and getting a kendo stick, which I will never understand why they always have kendo sticks of all things under the mat. if they, maybe like before the matches or before the show starts, they practice, samurai swordplay or whatever. Who knows? But at any rate, grabs kendo stick. Starts trying to beat on John Morrison with this. John Morrison actually gets it away from him and starts beating on him with it. The Miz crawls away all the way up the ramp, but he was just playing possum, sets a trap. As soon as John Morrison gets up there, he pushes him into the sign and then delivers the skull-crushing finale. The EMTs basically have to cart John Morrison away, and the show continues, and that's basically the last that it looks like we're going to see of John Morrison on WWE. Unless and until something else happens, if they bring him back, which doesn't appear likely at this time, but we'll see what happens. The Miz went on to point out that he did it last week to the R-Truth, this week he did it to John Morrison, and next week, who knows? So again, we'll see what happens. Moving on to match number 2. This was the Divas tag match. This was between Kelly Kelly and Alicia Fox versus Nikki and Brie Bella. Now this is the first match that we've seen with Nikki and Brie Bella in a long time. So they've been showing up in the backstage area in little skits, fawning over Alberto Del Rio, etc. But they finally got a match. They came out and it started out with Kelly and I believe it was Brie Bella. Not actually sure, but for no reason, about a few seconds into the match, Beth Phoenix and Natalya jogged down the ramp, around the ring, and then back up the ramp. Looked like they were basically it was part of their workout or something. Had to get some screen time, I guess, for the Divas champion. So that's what happened. The match continued. It culminated with Alicia Fox getting one of the Bellas by the leg. She actually attacked one of the legs and then followed up with a somersault leg drop, which pretty nice move by Alicia Fox. She got the pin and the win, and the show continued. There was a promotion for Sheamus going on about his anger management issues, how he's cool up until a point, and then after that he explodes. So this is all leading up to something. They've been mentioning this over the last couple of weeks. So again, we'll see what happens with Sheamus and his anger management issues. Following that, John Laurinaitis, David Otunga, and Alberto Del Rio were backstage talking about Alberto Del Rio's shot at the title for his rematch against CM Punk. CM Punk comes in, talks large smack about all three of them, points out that he looked up David Otunga's name and the only thing he could find was something about Jennifer Hudson. After that, after CM Punk left, David Otunga said that he thought that CM Punk was going to try and provoke an intentional disqualification so that he would be able to retain the title. And John Laurinaitis said that if CM Punk did intentionally provoke a disqualification, he would lose the title automatically. And this set up some action that was going to take place in the main event later. Now, match 3 was Randy Orton versus Dolph Ziggler. This was a good match. Orton versus Ziggler. They have all the ingredients to make a good match, and they did. This went on, and it culminated. First, there was Randy Orton was actually able to get a superplex on Dolph Ziggler, and Orton started to go through his the normal routine that he goes through. People hammer on John Cena for the 5 moves of doom, but pretty much every face has one. Every big face has a sequence, and Orton was going through the snap suplex and the second rope DDT. And he set up for the RKO. Dolph Ziggler rolled out of the ring and got out of the way before it happened. Wade Barrett, who had been sitting on the sidelines at the announce table, jumped up on the apron behind Orton. Orton drop kicked him, and Ziggler took the opportunity to deliver a zigzag, and Dolph Ziggler got the pin and the win. So Dolph Ziggler looks like he's headed for big things. Again, this is setting up all the angles that are going to be happening over the next few months. So again, we'll see what happens. Next, we had Michael Cole and Daniel Bryan talking in the ring about Daniel Bryan's his attempt to go ahead and cash in the Money in the Bank last week when Mark Henry was basically knocked out, and this was overturned by Teddy Long on SmackDown. And Michael Cole went on to call Daniel Bryan a hypocrite because Daniel Bryan had previously said that he wanted to cash it in at WrestleMania, whoever became the champion at WrestleMania. This was like the first time that I can recall that anyone actually called when they were going to cash it in. Bryan said that yeah, he was a hypocrite, and he had planned to go for the title at WrestleMania, but plans changed. His plan basically changed after Mark Henry came after him and tried to induct him into the Hall of Fame. Now, Mark Henry came out and said that he ought to be ashamed of himself for trying to attack Mark Henry when he's halfway injured, when he was hobbling around with the boot on his foot, which is still there. He tells Bryan that even though he's only on one leg, he's going to beat Bryan tomorrow in the steel cage match, and that there's no way Bryan can beat him. Bryan comes out of the ring and kicks him in his in the booted ankle, and Mark Henry limps around in pain. And the crowd was kind of mixed, and not sure if they're going to try and make Mark Henry a sympathetic character at this point in time, or if they're going to keep him a heavy. So we'll see what happens. He's got tremendous upside, in my opinion. If they switch him over to a face now, he's just going to blend into the background again. I mean, unless they've got some definite plans on what they want to do with him. So we'll see. I keep saying that. We'll see what happens. Unified Wrestling. You'll see what happens. Next match. This was match number 4. Jack Swagger versus Zack Ryder. Zack Ryder's getting a push. Jack Swagger is turning into Jobber McGee. Zack Swagger did manage to get the win in this match. Zack Ryder got the win in this match. Jack Swagger went to do the Swagger Bomb and stepped on Zack Ryder's hand. And I think he noticed what he did. Then he reset and did it again, and he tried to get the Swagger Bomb. Zack Ryder put his feet up and kicked Jack Swagger in the chin, and followed up with the Rough Rider leg lariat, and it was pretty much over. Yeah, Zack Ryder's getting a push. Jack Swagger's not. So Zack Ryder won. Moving on to match number 5, which was the championship, the WWE Championship between Alberto Del Rio versus CM Punk. P.S. Alberto Del Rio apparently has a new shirt. Everybody go buy it. This match was pretty good. Again, 2 super pros. Obviously, it was going to be a good match. They went back and forth a lot. Alberto Del Rio went through the process of trying to soften up the left arm, as he always does in the process of getting ready to set up the cross arm breaker. CM Punk basically once Alberto Del Rio did finally get to the point of attempting the cross arm breaker, Punk slipped out of it. And he set up to do the GTS, but Del Rio was able to get out of it and bust a DDT on CM Punk. While the ref was distracted, Alberto Del Rio reached out, or rather, Ricardo passed him a chair. Alberto Del Rio smacked it on the ground and then threw it to CM Punk to try to make it look like CM Punk had hit him with a chair while the ref's back was turned. CM Punk threw the chair back and then did a super flop. Just awesome Magic Johnson type flop on the mat. The ref almost DQ'd Alberto Del Rio, but Punk rolled him up while he was talking to the referee and got the 3 count. Ricardo tried to explain to the referee what happened after it was all over, and basically just got to go to sleep for his efforts. And so CM Punk retained the title, and that was Alberto Del Rio's. Basically, that was his rubber match, so it looks like they're going to be on to new and more inviting things. That's pretty much what happened tonight. Now, tomorrow night, they are going to have a SmackDown live show. We will have the live coverage for that, so go ahead and check Unified Wrestling for the live coverage for the live SmackDown show. That's pretty much it. And also, don't forget to check out the show on Thursday. Caesar Scorpio is going to be breaking down all the action that takes place on TNA Impact. For myself, the Invincible E Vincent, and the absent Caesar Scorpio, go ahead and take care, and we'll talk to you later.